Hi everyone! Welcome to the Crafty Pixie, where we do sewing and craft projects. I'm Bee. Whether you are new or old here, thank you so much for stopping by. It is great to have you. In today's video, we are finally making the More Me No car trash can. I made these for a bunch of holiday gifts and they were a huge success. And I decided I was going to finally make myself one. So it's nice and big, hangs right over the back of the front seat. Great space. It is very beginner friendly. Takes like no time at all to do. It's really, really nice. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I upload every Wednesday at 9:15 a.m. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, especially if you are a new subscriber, and give the video a thumbs up. Without any further ado, let's get to materials and get started. For this video, we are going to need just a few items. You're going to need your pattern piece and the instructional sizes that she tells you. She suggests if you use quilt cotton to interface it with like SF101, anything like that. You can also use duck canvas. She also highly suggests using waterproof canvas. I'm going to use duck canvas today because this is going in my car and drinks aren't allowed in my car. So, and then you're going to need clips or pins, scissors. She does say to use Velcro, but I like the snaps, so I'm going to be using a snap. Coordinating thread, sewing machine, and a little bit of time. So let's get going. First thing I am going to do is I'm actually going to pin all of the pattern pieces together. So this is your piece that's going to be going around the headboard, or headrest of the car. So you're going to pin them right sides together. Make sure you're as even as you can be. These are great holiday gifts. These are great special occasion gifts, birthday gifts, anything like that. They come together really quickly and they're not difficult to make. So you're literally going to pin and you're going to leave the bottom open, okay? All right, once that's one's together, you can set it aside. Then you can grab your other pieces. Now the exterior pieces, of course, will go with the exterior and the interior will go with the interior. So you're just going to take, this is going to be my exterior, and you're going to lay them right sides together. Make sure you line them up. And you are literally going to pin down the sides and pin all across the bottom. You are sewing all three edges. Again, you can use as many clips as you want. You can use, or pins. I made a bunch of these for holiday gifts and they were a huge hit. And even people that didn't get them were all like, I want one. So everyone's going to love them. All right, and then you're going to take your interior, like I said, I'm going to use duck canvas because drinks aren't allowed in my car anyway, so there should be nothing that's wet going into the trash can. What you're going to do is you're going to pin along the long edges, and then you're going to leave a about 4-inch opening right in the bottom, so that we can turn everything right side out when you're finished. Remember, when you take this over to the sewing machine and you are sewing, do not sew along your cutouts. That is so that we can box the corners in the next step. All right, now you're going to take this over to the sewing machine. In the pattern and kind of instructions that she gives you, she does not give you a seam allowance. She says whatever you feel comfortable with, you can do. In the quick little video that she does, it is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I do 3/8 of an inch, and it works really, really well. So I'm going to take this over, all of the pieces over to the sewing machine. We're going to backstitch really well at the beginning and at the end, especially right here where we're going to be turning the bag right side out. And then 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Remember, do not sew your square cutouts. And then I'm going to do that. I will be right back and we'll go from there. All right, I went ahead and cut, for the strap, I cut the seam allowance down to 1/4 of an inch. I also clipped the corners of each and clipped in just one. Be careful when you do it. Do not clip any of the stitches that you just made. And then I turned it right side out and pressed it. And then with the body pieces, I went ahead and I pressed the seams open. It's going to make the next step a little bit easier, I find, at least. So I did it to the exterior and the interior. And then basically what you're going to do is you're going to come through and we're going to box the corners. So we're going to connect the seams. Make sure they lay flat. Make sure you're even on both sides. And I'm going to do 3 clips. You're going to come through when you go to the sewing machine. You're going to backstitch really well at the beginning and at the end. And you're going to do a 3/8 inch seam allowance. You're going to do this to all 4 corners. So 2 to the interior, 2 to the exterior. And when you iron the seams open, it really helps to make sure this lays flat for you. Now, if you have waterproof canvas, ironing it really doesn't work. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. So you just have to finger press it really, really well. Okay. And then, like I said, you're going to do that to all 4 corners. And do a 3/8 inch seam allowance for the stitches. And then when you're done doing that, you're going to cut the seam allowance down to 1/4 of an inch. Just so that there isn't any bulk. All right, and then while you're over at the sewing machine, you're going to come through and you're going to top stitch all the way around at a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance all the way around. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and at the end, and make sure that this is completely open at the bottom. And then when you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to press that seam as well. I'm going to go to the sewing machine, I'm going to do all of that, and then I will be right back. All right, now that we've done that, we're going to take the lining and we're going to pull it right side out. Get those edges pushed out. Make sure everything is good. Okay, and we're gonna set that aside. And then we're gonna take our interior, or exterior, sorry. And we're going to fold it in half, making a center mark. So you just want to line up the seams that were made, and then you just want to make a teeny tiny snip, just so that you know where your center is. Okay. And then with right sides together, you're going to lay the raw edge of your strap with the raw edge of the bag. Actually, hold on. You gotta make the center mark on this one too. There we go. All right. Just slip that inside. And you're going to line up the center mark on both. We're going to clip it. And then we're going to line up the raw edges, clip them together. Okay, and then we're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and you're going to want to baste down your strap piece that we just clipped, and you want to baste it at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, so you want absolutely no way that you're going to see this in the end. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. All right, now that that is basted in place, nice and quick, we're going to take our lining right side out, so your raw seams are on the inside, and we're going to place it inside the bag, or exterior. Make sure we're not getting anything stuck. Okay. And then first you're gonna line the seams. Make sure the raw edges are together. This is a big enough area. This really shouldn't give you too much of an issue. But we're gonna clip there. Flip it over, do it again. Clip. And then you can find your center that you made. Clip there. Do the same thing on the other side. Now on the side that has your bag strap, be very careful. You don't want to get any of this tangled. You want to make sure it's all even. No bunching or anything like that, because you're definitely going to be able to see that when you're done. And then just fill in with as much clips or pins as you want to make it easier for you. Like I said, this is a really large opening, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Runaway clip. Alright, once you're done with that, you're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, we are going to sew along the entire exterior. Be careful that you don't have any shifting when you get to where you basted your strap. Make sure it stays nice and flat so you don't get any bunching. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'll be right back. All right, now that that is done, we're going to take it and we're going to flip it right side out. Make sure we push everything through. You're gonna want to push out your boxed corners. Okay, boxed corners are out. Manage to catch any like loose threads, you can always try to pull them, or you can cut them at the end. Not a big deal. All right. We are looking good. Look at that. All right, now we're going to take this back over to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew our hole that we left at a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance so we can seal it. It's on the interior of the car trash can, so we don't have to worry about it being pretty. No one's going to see it unless they turn it inside out. I'm going to place a few clips. Now if you're doing this with waterproof canvas, you know, you can give it a good finger press before you put your clips or pins. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to take that over to the sewing machine. I will be right back. Alright, now that that is done, isn't this cute? Oh, I'm excited to put it in my car. Now that that's done, I went ahead and I turned it right side out and closed the seam, and then leveled everything out when I stuffed the lining back in, and I went ahead and I pressed around the edge just to make sure we are even, because next you're going to top stitch the whole thing. My biggest suggestion for you is that when you start to top stitch, start on the back behind your strap. That way it's going to be less noticeable. And you're just going to want to do an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, not very big. You can do 1/4 of an inch if you want to, because we didn't trim the seam allowance. but you don't have to. It's going to get caught in there anyway. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. All right, the top stitching is done. I went ahead and gave it a final press just to seal those stitches. And now, if you have Velcro that you want to do, you can do that now. I'm actually going to place a little snap. So you just want to overlap it a little bit, like so, and then you're going to eyeball the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure you push it through so there's a nice hole there. And then you're going to take the top piece of your snap and place it down on your first piece. There we go. And then the male end right on top. Then you're going to take your flat piece and put it on the outer piece. Push down and squeeze. Make sure you check it, make sure it's good, and we're good. And then you're going to push the outer piece through the bottom of the second piece of fabric. Like so. Then take the female end, place it down, and then just repeat what you did to the other one. Hold it down and make sure it's good and it's not going to move around on you. And you are done. Voila! There you go. You've got a nice car trash can. You can take it out. You can give it a wash if you need to. It's a great little project, very beginner friendly, not complicated at all. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I upload. And leave a comment in the comment section down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Until next time, see ya!